Happy 4th of July to all you guys out there, at least all you who care about what's going on over here in America. This is a pretty big, important holiday for me personally. It's the celebrating the independence of the country that I'm from and the country that I love. So it's a big deal for me. And so if it is for you, man, I hope you have a great time. My family usually gets together and we do the fireworks and the barbecue and all that stuff. And that's not happening this year for a myriad of reasons, but we'll get back to it next year. No big deal. And since we're not doing that this year, I figured, hey, it's a great time to do a Q&A. I asked you guys for questions earlier in the week and you guys sent in a bunch of questions. So we're going to go ahead and answer those. I do want to send one real quick shout out to a very, very active member of my community. It is his birthday. So Reindahl, happy birthday, man. I hope you have an awesome one. Whether you're 21 or what'd you say, 65. We don't know how old you are, but man, I hope you have a great birthday.
What you think about when you're born into a fire?
So before I get into the questions, like always, guys, I'm going to remind you guys to hit the like button or the thumbs up button. If you like this type of content, it really does help. Leave a comment. That's even better. Leaving a comment is awesome. And also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Only about half of the people who regularly watch my content are subscribed. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button today so that you can get notified of all future videos. I will be putting out a 2-part series of videos over the next 2 days, breaking down why Ashes of Creation is the most anti-meta MMO ever made. So definitely subscribe if you want to get that. So let's move right into the questions. Question number 1, Jacob asks, based on the release style so far, do you think we'll have to wait until all the archetypes have been released to see any form of the secondary archetype system released? Jacob, I do believe that is the case. I think, and I'm not 100% about this because I'm not a repository of everything Steven ever said, but I'm pretty sure Steven has actually confirmed that. Maybe somebody in my comment section will let me know on that. But yeah, I think that's been confirmed. And even if it hasn't been confirmed, I'm pretty sure that's the way they would want to go, because for a lot of reasons, you're definitely going to want to have all 8 archetypes before you start playing with the secondary archetypes, I think. Una says, when will they show the rogue archetype? Do they already have the assets for the archetype, such as skills and spell animations done, or is it still in the works? They haven't actually told us anything about when we're going to get to see the rogue archetype, so we don't actually know for sure. From what I understand, the biggest holdup on that particular archetype is figuring out exactly how they want stealth to work, because I think that they are trying to make it where stealth is not like you just go invisible like it is in so many other MMOs, where maybe you'll be somewhat camouflaged or blending in with trees will be easier or something. But I don't think in this game you're going to be able to be invisible in the middle of a field like you are in so many other MMOs, a big, wide open empty field. So until they figure out exactly how stealth works, I don't think we're going to see the rogue archetype. But I do believe once they do figure out how stealth's going to work, the rogue archetype will probably come pretty quickly after that. And I suspect it will probably be when Alpha 2 comes around, sometime at the beginning or towards the beginning of Alpha 2, if not at the launch of Alpha 2, which my personal opinion is probably not coming until October or later of this year. Kieran Blackrock says, do you think AOC will see the light of day and launch late next year, or is that too much wishful thinking and we're looking for more of a 2 to 3 year window or period before full launch? So late next year is kind of my, if everything goes absolutely perfect from here to there, we can see a release in that time. In my head, I'm like Alpha 2 in October, and we'll have like 4 months of Alpha 2 where they'll be shooting out lots of content. And so you're looking at, March, April of next year, being done with Alpha 2, Beta 1 in like August, and then Beta 2 in, November or something like that, and then launch in December or something along those lines. That's kind of a pretty fast timeline, but that is me assuming that they have a lot more than they've already shown us in the alpha, and they've just been stripping it all the way back so that they could catch all these issues like the ghost controller issue, which we did go ahead and fix last week. So I think we're looking at, I think late next year or early 2023 is kind of my prediction on that. Cody says, so they've said they wanted nodes to be generated procedurally, so they are different each time they are rebuilt. Have you noticed this? Cody, that is not the case right now at all. Matter of fact, all the nodes are exactly the same. The only difference being like the type of ground or the area that they're built on. So for example, one of the nodes in a place called Nala is up on a huge plateau, so it's way up taller than the Winstead node, which is just on a big open plain in the middle, you know, an open field. Other than that, they're identical. There's no difference between them whatsoever. So right now, that's definitely not how they're going. But you know, again, like I just said, it's all in the most bare bones state. So don't know yet. But as soon as I notice that, for sure, I'll let you know. Mr. Gaxar says, what would you say is the biggest potential negative based on the systems you've experienced in game? Should they stay stay the same when the live product is released? For me, this is the light attack and the way that it works. I've mentioned this in my overview of the combat from my initial Alpha 1 impressions. Basically, the light attack is not on the global cooldown, so you can use it. You can spam it at any time, and that creates a situation like Elder Scrolls Online, and I want to say I've heard some people say Black Desert Online has it also, where you have to animation cancel, and spamming one light attack in between every ability is like the meta. It's how you get the highest DPS, and that takes, in my opinion, it takes the skill cap of a game that already has a pretty high skill cap, as in the skill required to be good at it, and raises it up pretty high. It also makes it where your internet, your ping and your latency and all that stuff really affects your DPS. I know some people in Elder Scrolls Online who have massive differences in their DPS on the same character, same gear and all that stuff, just depending on whether they're on the internet at school or the internet at their home. So that for me, if they don't figure out a way to make sure that putting a light attack in between every ability, or weaving as it's called in Elder Scrolls Online, if they don't figure out a way to get rid of the weaving, that's going to be a big disappointment for me personally. Randall has a bunch of questions that I get after Zillion's passives video. For the tank, you said that 75 was not a lot, and I know some people have said that currently it is about 1/10 of our max HP pool. If it follows the tier 3 system like what people believe the actives will do, doesn't this mean you should get about 10% of the max AP of a max level tank? I think Randall and I have discussed this personally. I think that the information that he was getting was wrong. Most tanks were getting up in the 1600 health range, so 75% or 75 health is not 10% of that. However, if it is a 3-tier system and the jumps are pretty significant on each tier, then yeah, it could absolutely be worth it. But right now, I don't think 75 is even close to worth it. And then he says, for clerics, does the cleric healing and mana pool change your view on how cleric will be viable in in-game? If you can buy the cleric's passives as a secondary archetype, then does that mean it will definitely going to be DOA? So Randall is talking about a discussion that I had on one of the podcasts that I was on about the potential if clerics are a secondary archetype and can cause you to heal yourself or your allies or both, you may get a meta where people don't really use a cleric as a main healer. Just everybody is expected to have their cleric as their secondary archetype. That way that everybody can just keep themselves healed. I'm not sure that that's going to be the case. We don't know how strong those heals are going to be, anything like that. That was just kind of speculative talk. So I don't know, but I would say even in that scenario, even if you did go that way, people would probably still have at least one cleric that was just a primary healing cleric, just to, catch up and deal with spike damage and stuff like that. So, either way, I don't think cleric's going to be DOA, and I really hope that they're not going to make it where a situation where the meta automatically becomes everybody be a secondary cleric. For the mage, he asks, critical hit damage, says that critical hits apply to healing and damage. Not sure if that was known to the public. Does this mean some combo of mage plus cleric is going to be the best healer with current info? I've seen some people speculating that you might go mage for that passive specifically, and then go cleric, and then try to be a healer out of that with the big crit heals, basically. And yeah, it's a possibility. I don't know, because we don't know what how the secondary archetypes are going to work exactly, but sure, could work. And under general, he asks, does the cooldown affect individual skills or global cooldown or both? We don't know. No idea. I've tried to time it out. I don't have enough tools right now to time that out exactly. But it's something that I'm going to look into in the future. If I had to just take a wild guess, I would say the individual skills probably only and not the global cooldown. Alejandro says, they've said only one citizenship may be declared per account per server, but will it be shared among all alts, or will it apply to the character that you claim it with? We don't actually know the answer to that question. I've heard some speculation of both ways. I personally hope that it does not count for all of your characters, because that creates more incentive for you to pick a character, specialize in a character, and forces interaction between people. If all of my alts are citizens of the same node and they all get the benefits of being citizen of that node, then I can start to use an army of alts to do a lot of things, as opposed to having to rely on other people. And I'm hoping this game leans more and more towards forcing you to rely on other people, which I feel like they've baked that into the system of the game in lots of different places. So, but there is a possibility that it will count for all alts, and if it does, then we'll know about that, and I will definitely let you know as soon as I have a definitive answer to that question. Zeraspel says, name 5 things that are for sure going to be your path in Ashes of Creation. And then he goes on to list his 5 things. Number 1, I'll definitely be a tank. Number 2, I will definitely be involved in crafting, probably blacksmithing. Number 3, I will almost certainly be a member or a citizen of a scientific node. Number 4, I will be trying to become a mayor at some point for sure. And number 5, I will be involved in the PvE, high-end PvE raiding. If there is any type of difficult raiding in the game, I'll definitely be involved in that. So that would be my 5. So that's going to be it for the Q&A today. If you would like to have one of your questions answered in one of these videos, just leave a comment with a question in any video that I put out, and I will try to get to it as soon as I can. That's all I got for today, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.